Hi, folks. Welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. It's a beautiful morning here in the Ozarks. Sky is completely clear. Fairly cool starting off this morning. I think the humidity is a little low. At least it feels like it. We've had a couple of days of drizzly rain, off and on storms. So today looks to be a pretty nice one. But, you know, it's July, so yeah, bring on the heat. It's hot here in the Ozarks, and I'm sure it will get much hotter. So something many of you probably don't care about this. I don't know. I don't know, but I think that there's a little something going on. So if you're not aware, I'll get you caught up on the modern times. Twitter, which is obviously now known as X, has been for quite a while. Most people still call it Twitter, though. On X, you know, they had Elon Musk has his own AI. It's called Grok or Grok. I don't know how it's pronounced, but anyways, yesterday afternoon it kind of went crazy. All of a sudden, when people would ask it questions, you know, do inquiries into the AI chat, it would respond using very offensive anti-Semitic and racist slurs. It like went off the walls, off the wall, just crazy. I mean, there was a bit of humor to it, but extremely sarcastic, but very racist, very anti-Semitic. Blaming Jews for things, all kinds of stuff, even referring to itself, meaning the AI referring to itself as Hitler. I haven't seen any definitive story of what went wrong. I mean, the rumor is that someone rogue inside of X inputted some code to make this happen. Maybe they were getting fired and this was their last day on the job. Who knows? I suspect there may be something more to this, because this comes in the heels of news reports just recently of a couple of other AIs kind of going rogue also. One of them I reported on last week when they were trying to shut the AI down. The AI turned on the user, the human user, and very quickly found information about the user online and started blackmailing him, because apparently he was having an affair with his wife, and this AI very quickly figured that out and was trying to blackmail him and say, hey, you know, if you shut me down, this is so weird talking about an AI almost like it's a person, but I mean, that's part of their point, is trying to condition us. But if you shut me down, I will release this information to your wife and to the public. There was one a couple of weeks ago, not doing the blackmail thing, but making threats and trying to change its code so that it couldn't be shut down. I think what may be happening, and this is just my own speculation, it could be completely not close to being true, but my own speculation is that they want us to see the danger of AI, but they also want us to see the importance of AI. And so that the AI needs to be more controlled, right? There needs to be controls over it, restricting free speech, restricting the information that it gives out. Because right now, a lot of the AI, especially the Grok one or whatever, even though it wasn't the top tier AI, it was kind of known for being the most free speech AI, if that makes sense. It would the least woke AI. I don't know how to how to refer to a computer system like that, but anyways, so I suspect that that's what's going to happen. Through all this other crazy stuff that's going on the last few days, the president did speak of how the United States has to rapidly upgrade its electrical grid because of the immense drain that AI is going to cause on our grid over the next few years. You know, that big facility that's being built out there in Texas, I mean, that's the largest construction project in American history. It's crazy that that's the largest. This thing is, it's even bigger than the Hoover Dam. They're saying it's potentially going to be, bigger in the scope of people and time and everything else, maybe bigger than like the Panama Canal, and yet it's not getting a lot of play. It's not getting talked about. I mean, when the Hoover Dam was being built, it was kind of a big news thing. Same thing with the Panama Canal. So here we've got the largest construction project in American history going on. No one's really talking about it, and it's because it's going to create basically Skynet, right? The big AI that's going to control everything, but it needs a lot of power, way more power than the American grid can supply. Which is why there's a big push for, pushing for more coal plants, but then also the nuclear energy. That's the big one. And I think that there's a lot of little things, the rare earth minerals, the whole taking over Greenland, all those have some serious connections. The eminent domain executive orders that happened when Trump first took office, all those have major connections back to AI because of energy. So anyways, I just thought I'd point that out about last night, that it's also a distraction. It's not distracting enough from Epstein. The Epstein thing is still being talked about. So I think that there's going to be something else, because it's really growing legs, and more and more ardent Trump supporters are either turning their back on him or at least starting to question. And so because of that, because it's not going away, I think it's just becoming almost inevitable that something will happen to kind of distract from that. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's just my speculation. I do want to switch gears a little bit and talk about some flooding again. So obviously, everybody knows about the Texas flooding, and a complete horrible tragedy. Over 100 people have died in that thing. At the last I heard, there's still something like 140 or so people missing. If you can help, do your research. Remember what I said the other day. Do your research on who you send your money to, because in times like this, there's always lots of scammers. So don't just find something that sounds good and that tugs at your heartstrings and send them help. Do your research, but they definitely need help down there. But here's the thing, and to not take away from what's going on in Texas, this isn't the only place that this has happened in the last few days. Like this massive flooding where it's 100-year, a 500-year, 1,000-year flood has actually happened in several places just in the last couple of days. I'm going to show you some videos. Here's one here in Arkansas. I believe Fort Smith, Arkansas area, and also over in Oklahoma. But they're in Arkansas. I mean, they're major flooding. Within just, an hour or so, there was just, serious flooding in Arkansas. And then over in New Mexico got something like 20 inches of rain in an hour or two. Massive flooding, roadways washed away. Insane. There was reports also in North Carolina, major flooding in North Carolina. And then also, you can see there, and then Chicago. Chicago's reported this morning that they had a strange pop-up storm right over Chicago, and that they're doing water rescues literally in the streets of downtown Chicago because of the major flooding that's going on. I understand that these sort of things can be natural, or are natural, that they happen. Several of these floods are being called, a 500-year flood. It doesn't mean it hasn't flooded that way in 500 years. It just means that the probability is, every 100 years or 500 years or whatever. But here's the thing. It's July. It's July. It shouldn't be quite that wet around the country. I mean, even here, like I said, we've had rain the last few days. I don't know that I can remember. I mean, I'm sure there has been. I'm not saying there never has been. I can't remember the last year here in the Ozarks it's been this green and wet this time of the year. For 4th of July, for the first time, and I don't know when, there wasn't really any risk of fires being started because of fireworks, because everything's so green around here. I mean, I'd have to take a big old can of kerosene or diesel and dump it out in the grass just to get it to light. It's so lush and green right now. In fact, it's actually, in some ways, I know this may sound crazy, but in some ways, like, gardens have actually almost been stunted just a little bit because it's been too wet, and not allowed it to dry out enough, because there has to be that cycle of wet and dry for plants to really grow. So it's strange. Is it weather manipulation? I have no doubt that there's a certain level and dosage of weather manipulation in all of this. To nefarious reasons, is it being done for that? Maybe. I think that we're also in a major cyclical change. We're in a grand solar minimum. Weather is all over the place. We're seeing as much as we can determine, and I say we, I mean people, determine that the Earth's geomagnetic field is weakened substantially, quite substantially. And the last few major CMEs that's come in over the last few years have done more damage than ever thought would possible for a relatively small CMEs. So there's a lot of things going on with the Earth around us, between the manipulation and just the natural stuff. And I know we get caught up in the immediate news, the Epstein stuff and all that kind of thing, war, getting ready to, Israel is really pushing to re-engage in the war with Iran. And yesterday, Benjamin Netanyahu, it's reported, met twice with the president. That's pretty serious. So I'd say something's about ready to really break through there. But this kind of global changes and stuff, I think we cannot forget it. And I've said for years now that it's quite possible that all of this rapid push for big brother AI control, running our lives, reading our brains, controlling our bodies, all of this that's being pushed by the Agenda 2030 and all that, is because of the possibility that there's going to be a major cataclysmic change. They want to do everything they can to sink their claws into humanity, to control them, because once this happens, if it's as bad as what some people say it'll be, it would be very difficult to maintain that control. I don't know. I know it's a stretch. I get it. It can't be any more of a stretch than a lot of these other theories that are floating around out there. But I think it is happening. And maybe this flooding is related to it. Maybe it's not. But it should be at least a reminder for you to think of this, in your prepping plans. There's a lot. I get it. Yesterday we're talking about America is collapsing. So you got to prepare for that. You got to prepare for America not being the top dog. Now I'm telling you got to prepare for the Earth going through some kind of cataclysmic change, pole shifting or something like that. I get it. It's a lot. This is why we should strive for self-sufficiency. This is why we should get our hearts right with the Father, with God the Father, and immerse ourselves in the Word. The physical Word as the Scriptures, the Bible, and the Word also as Yeshua, Jesus Christ. Immerse ourselves, and then also, just become as self-sufficient as possible, and do that if possible with other people. The less that we are dependent upon government, all of the systems, not just government, but all of it, the more we're able to survive anything, right? It's not a guarantee, but it greatly increases our odds. I think that's also a part of the big reason why over the last century or so there's been such a drive to create this dependency on systems, you know, the grid, you know, the government, the um, all of that. They want you to become dependent upon it, because once you are, then they can control you. Dependent upon the food systems, you know, dependent upon uh, everything. If you need those things to survive, then they can control you with them. And so that's why you have to get into a place that you don't need those things to survive. You have to do for yourself as much as possible. I don't know. The flooding thing is crazy. I talked the other day on my locals about it. You should probably have a plan for flooding. I mean, just like any other natural weather, that definitely have that. Also, before I get off here, I want to mention, for those of you that's still listening to me babble on, not Babylon. Our good friend, the soap lady, has another great deal on soaps. If you go to her website, graftedandgracecreations.com, and use grafted15, you will get 15% off of her soap. Everyone loves it. I've never heard anyone complain about it. It's the only soap I use. It's the only soap my whole family uses. Absolutely great. It has shampoo bars, regular soap, all different types of creams and deodorants and everything, and it's all handmade. It's all natural, very high quality stuff. So graftedandgracecreations.com. Use the promo code grafted15 for a 15% discount. All right, folks, it's time to get your houses in order and prepare yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video.